The following production is brought to you by the Talkin' Buds Leaf Show.
Here we go. Talkin' Buds Leaf Show, episode 306. Since he came into the fold, I would say that we have been a very pro Brad Treliving podcast. We have been tree advocates, if you will. And now, after this weekend, in which he signs John Tavares to an extremely team-friendly extension, you read through all the draft profiles of everyone they picked this weekend and all the similar traits these guys have in common, to the story that Elliot Friedman broke that he's essentially blackmailing the Vegas Golden Knights into making a trade for Mitch Marner's rights, and now getting Matty Knies signed to what I think is a very fair contract for both the team and the player. We might just rename this podcast to the Talkin' Treliving podcast, because my guy Brad is cooking right now. Cooking.
Yeah. Let him cook. Let the dog cook. Honestly, this fucking Mitch Marner Vegas story, am I just like overreacting, or is this like I think it's one of the most insane stories I've ever heard. And I feel like it's like not getting, like, there was reporting on it, and first of all, that was a bomb. Like, you never, like, that was just a bomb out of nowhere, and that blew my mind, that story. I still don't know what to make of it, or like, I haven't even seen that many people comment on it, and it's just, to me, it's like one of the craziest stories I've ever heard. Maybe I'm just overthinking it, but wow, you sent me that, and I was like, holy shit, what the hell is going on here?
He's basically blackmailing the Vegas Golden Knights. He's like, I will take you to the league for tampering unless we can pull off a sign and trade.
Because I'm just sitting there, because people are like, what about the sign and trade? What about the sign and trade? I'm like, what? Why the fuck would Mitch Marner do a sign and trade with the Toronto Maple Leafs? Why would he ever do that? I understand the one extra year, but like, we're talking 7-8 years here. Maybe just one extra year of that $13 million he's going to make is just so important to him or whatever. But I just never really bought that. Like, I don't know. I just don't think one extra year. I just feel like he hates this franchise so much. Why would he do anything to benefit them? So that's why I'm just running through my mind. And then this story comes out, and I'm like, well, who knows is he even going to sign in Vegas? Like, this is all a story, but there's still a lot of teams out there who are going to want to talk to him and offer him a lot of money. So who knows if Vegas is even the destination for him? I don't know.
I think it's pretty much done with Vegas, and that's why they have it on authority that there's some tampering going on, and that's why they've stepped in. Like, Vegas is the team. It's going to come out tomorrow that Mitch Marner is signing with the Vegas Golden Knights.
And it makes sense to me. Like, out of all the teams that were willing to offer him a contract, like, they are still a very good team, made it to the second round, didn't have the greatest showing, but they're going to finish in the top 3 in that division again and get back to another second round. So him going there makes a lot of sense. And it's a good market for him too. I mean, I would play hockey in Vegas in 2 seconds. So, but yeah, that story just, I thought it was wild.
All right, let's talk the Matty Knies extension. 6 years, $7.75 million AAV. Your thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's the term is awesome. The term is fantastic. Like, talking about the bridge deal or whatever. The AAV I thought was always going to be between 7 and 9. So that didn't surprise me. But the 6 years is really, really nice piece of business. And you just hope that he just continues to get better and better. Like, this year, he's a 50-point guy, and he could score 30 goals. I think he can score even more. He's just got all the tools in the tool shed, and just got to stay healthy and keep getting better. And if he keeps building off what he did last season, I think it's worth every penny, because you're not finding this guy anywhere else in the league right now. This is a unique player for you. Now he's a part of your core. You take Mitch Marner out, you replace him with Matty Knies. So they had to get it done. The term's awesome. The money's fair to me for what he's going to provide them. And just hopefully he can stay healthy and just keep getting better. That's the only question marks. It's like, is he going to get better, or is he, and he's going to stay healthy? So he needs those two things.
31 other teams in this league would take Matty Knies on their roster in an absolute heartbeat. and to get him signed for 6 years on what I think is a very fair AAV is amazing work by Brad Treliving. I spent all year saying this guy is a pillar of the Leafs' future. This is a guy who I truly believe. I'm of the opinion that when Austin Matthews' next contract is up, he will be somebody that will probably leave. I just really get that sense. I don't care that he says he wants to be a Leaf forever. I just get that sense that at the end of this, he'll go, I spent a ton of time here. I'm ready to move on. I think Matty Knies is a potential future captain of this franchise. Like, that's how much I believe in Matty Knies, and that's how much I think he's a pillar of this team's future. And to get this done is awesome. Awesome work by Brad Treliving ahead of Tuesday. It's 3 teams in the mix for Brad Marchand on Tuesday. The Florida Panthers, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and then yesterday it was reported the Bruins might make a push to try and bring him back.
I'm sorry.
I think you're right.
That's
I think that
ridiculous.
ship has sailed. I think that ship has sailed.
Sailed, my guy.
Yes.
That guy,
Yes.
He's 37. He's got 2. Do you want to get into this now?
No. Let's talk about Knies, and then we'll talk about Marchand.
Okay, we'll get to
Marchand later.
Okay.
And I think the contract is very fair. I'm just really happy with it. I think Brad Treliving has done a fantastic job this weekend. I can't say enough about just this and the Tavares deal side by side. The old cliche term, tidy piece of business.
Yeah, and I forget who tweeted it, but last year their combined cap hit was like 11.5, and then this year it's going to be like 12.5.
Yeah.
So to get both those guys who produced great seasons for you last year to sign, and you're only paying like $1 million more than you did last year, is pretty nice piece of business. And it's just like you just saw what Knies did last year, and it's just. You just can't imagine him not being just a top player for them for years to come. Like he's got all the tools. So it's really worked out how this guy's worked out for them. And he's a really important player.
The naysayers that I've seen online are like, oh, you're paying him all this money. He's only been in the league a couple of years. And it's like, to a degree.
I get that. Yeah. I do kind of get that. But if you sat down and strapped in for 82 and watched what we watched, all the tools are there, man. Like I've seen it. I believe it. And I think the coach believes it. I think the GM believes it. I think everybody in that locker room believes it. So to me, that's worth it.
He also, in his short career, we've talked about the dog a lot, especially with the previous core. He has shown there is some dog in Matty Knies. He is willing to get in the mix when it comes to the rough stuff. He's willing to drop the mitts. He's only going to get bigger and better and be less intimidated by everything going on around him.
Yeah,
so to a degree here,
young.
yeah, like you are paying here for like for what you're projecting he will continue to grow into.
Yeah, the guy's going to be 23 years old at the start of the season. So like,
yes,
he was this intimidating, or he was that like not afraid of physicality. And he was already one of the biggest guys on the ice at 22 years old. Wait till he gets to 23, 24, 25. Like it's there. You believe it. He's going to be a stud.
We'll get into the Marchand thing in a second, but you said you read through all the draft profiles of every guy they drafted on the weekend. And the main takeaway is Kyle Dubas is no longer picking players for this franchise.
It's the total opposite philosophy of what they used to do. Before it was like grab any guy who has any sort of like high-end skill available because high-end skill is so important. And then this year it's just if you have a scouting report of you're competitive, you get quote unquote get to the hard areas and aren't afraid to get in somebody's face, you are on the Maple Leafs draft board. And if you're an analytic fan of this team right now, you hate your life because it's totally swinging in our direction of instead of accumulating every player who we think could get 100 points a season, we're going to accumulate every player who isn't afraid to do all the things that our old team was afraid to do. That's basically what the philosophy is.
The thing that I would say to that analytic crew that's probably doesn't love this is we did it your way. We did it your way for 10 years, 11 years. It didn't work. It did not work.
Yeah.
And the two-time defending Stanley Cup champion did it the other way.
And now
Sam Bennett is no one's favorite hockey player in the analytic community. No one. and he is the best playoff performer I've ever seen, and he just won the Stanley Cup, the Conn Smythe Trophy and the Stanley Cup. So, like, we did it your way. I think going all in, one thing we've learned, and watching Kyle Dubas again this weekend at the draft, holy Christ, trading down and going off the board and picking guys who are under 6 feet, 180 pounds. It's like, God, this guy, he's so committed to the bit. I'm so happy he's gone. God, I'm so happy he's gone. But it's like, we did it your way, guys. Yeah. It didn't work. It didn't work.
And who knows if these kids like work out? Like, I don't know if any of them are going to work out, but I mean, they're just going to try and fill their organization with competitive dudes. And that one kid who came out and like put on the most hero quote of all time. Talk about whoever's in charge. I don't know if he had that planned or whatever, because him doing that immediately took him from like a 5th round pick to like a prospect because of just one
Will
quote.
Bell.
Yeah, just one quote he makes. All of a sudden, everybody's going to be tracking this guy, seeing what he's doing, and he's just a 5th round pick. It's who knows who's ever going to sniff anything, but it's just funny how one quote. Now. Yeah,
I'll read it right now. The meanness aspect of it is just, I'm here to win. I'm here to help my team. I don't care who you are. I'm going to be in your face. That's how I'm wired. That's how I play. You're right. It's so funny. How many times have we and other shows just lamented the horrific PR from Matthews, Marner, Willie, and even John sometimes. And all it takes, like this, you're right, this is a 5th round pick who would never enter anyone's sort of frame of mind. And then he comes out and says a quote like that. Everyone will be paying attention to good guy Willie Bell when he shows up at rookie camp and when he shows up at training camp, because everyone's like, this guy's got a chip on his shoulder, and the fans get behind you when you're like, I'm here to win games. I'm here to put that sweater on, and I'm here to win games.
I was reading a story too. He's got a really interesting story. Like, grew up in China too, and he like moved here when he was like 15, or moved to the US when he was like 15. He's got a great story too for anyone who wants to read up on it. But yeah, smart move by that kid.
One last thing, just to touch on the Marner thing again. You know, there's part of me that is looking forward to Mitch Marner signing with the Golden Knights tomorrow and just having him move on and getting out of everybody's sort of collective psyche. It's just, it's time for everybody to move on. But I look at this and I go, Tavares just signed an extremely team-friendly deal. I want to be here. Matt Knies could have played hardball and he could have waited for an offer sheet with someone giving him $10 million. But he's like, no, I want to stay here and I want to be a Toronto Maple Leaf. And it's coming back to one guy now who he wants what's fair. He wants what he thinks he deserves. He wants what's his. It's just, I'm very happy to see this guy leaving tomorrow. I don't want to be one of these shows and one of these people that takes like personal jabs at the guy and goes after him as like a human being. I'm not interested in doing that, but it's just, we've talked a lot about the culture and where it went in the Brendan Shanahan era, especially in the later years. And I just think like it's time to go. And he's making the right decision for him. And I think he's making the right decision for the Leafs as well. It's just, it's time to move on and get out of this ridiculous, like, I want every last cent.
Yeah, it's just a cycle that needed to end. Simple as that.
So we're heading into tomorrow. The Leafs have $13.6 million in cap space tomorrow.
And then apparently there's like they might waive Reeves or something. That might give them another.
I think they did waive Reeves already or something. And I know, and it's been reported they are like basically like anyone who wants David Kampf for Kelly Yarncroc, pick up the phone and call me. That's basically Brad Treliving's.
Like I could go and I'm good. I'm good without seeing David Kampf play another game in a Leaf uniform.
How much money do you think is reasonable for them to throw at Brad Marchand? Because I think if they really want him bad, I think it starts with a 9.
Yeah, 100%. And I think they're looking at 9.5. I do. I think like 9.5 is like the overpay, or just under 10. It's the overpay. You're gonna have to overpay for this guy, and people aren't gonna be happy about it. people are going to be happy about it. Some people aren't going to get it, but there's nothing else out there right now. And if there's anyone who fits the change of DNA culture, as we've talked about several times, it's him.
Yeah.
And we'll see what the term is, whatever. But yeah, I think it's just a shade under double digits if you want to get this guy.
And I also think staying in Florida is very appealing for a lot of reasons.
100%.
But I think he is the guy that if you put a big enough bag in front of him,
yeah,
he's like, all right, I'll come play for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And one thing that I don't think is being talked about, I think the coach wants him bad. I think 100%. Berube wants him bad.
I think they all do. I think the whole organization. I think Tree and I think they're going to go hard for this.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's going to be 12:01 a.m. tonight, and whoever Marchand's agent is going to be, his phone is going to ring, and it's going to be Brad Treliving on the other end, and it's going to be, what's it going to take to get this done?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. You really got to, if you really sit and break it down, it's, I mean, I want to throw out like the state tax conversation right now. Like, I just don't, I don't want to get into that. It's annoying, whatever, but it is a factor. Okay. So that's a factor. So he could sign for a little less in Florida than he would in Toronto because of the state tax. Let's get that out of the way. But it's really just, he got his extra cup this season. Do you want to does he want to keep adding cups to his legacy to add to that Hall of Fame resume? That's the case for staying with the Florida Panthers. You fit in there perfectly. You're going to be slotted on the third line. The pressure isn't going to be there. No one cares about the team there, really. Like, it's just a whole different thing. You're going to have plenty of chances to add to that cup resume. Or you made that comment during the playoffs that you grew up as a Toronto Maple Leaf fan. And it's not like you're coming home or anything. But, like, how big is this guy's ego? Because I think if there's any player in this league who could come here and just hold the city in his palm, it's this guy. Yes. I don't think there's one other player in the league. I'm trying to think of one. Down.
He could sign a 4-year deal. So I have a couple quotes here from Frank Saravelli on the radio this morning. I'll read the Marchand one. He says it's going to be really difficult for a team to match the Leafs' rumored 4x9 deal for Marchand. And adds that he thinks that's a bit of an overpay, but that's what it's going to take to get him.
You have to.
Brad Marchand could come here and only play 2 of the 4 years of the deal he signs for, just for the example of what I'm about to say. And this guy will go down as one of the most beloved Toronto Maple Leafs of all time.
Dude, you can get them over some sort of hump next year, and the contract's worth it at that point.
Yes.
And everyone's with it. The cap's going up. Yeah, the cap's going up. So that's another reason of like, yeah, it's an overpay, but you know, like I don't know, there's no one else out there, man. Like,
this comes back to what we were talking about a few minutes ago about the analytics community. Just this makes them want to be sick paying Brad Marchand $9 million, but you are paying for the DNA change. You are paying for the leadership. You are paying to have him on your side in these tense playoff moments. You are paying, you're not necessarily paying for on-ice production. And like I said a couple episodes ago, inevitably, if this gets done tomorrow, some hero is going to write some article in The Athletic in November about how you're paying Brad Marchand $9 million and he's got 2 goals. Like someone is going to write that article.
Produce though. Like, I don't think he's not going to produce. There's a top line that needs a winger, and there's one guy who's filling that spot, and it's 63. So like, I don't think he's not going to produce. Like but I know what you're saying. He's not Mitch Marner production.
And there are people who have said that, even people who have commented on our videos about how like, oh, you guys are balking at paying John Tavares $7 million, but you'll happily turn around and hand Brad Marchand $9 million. And I'm kind of like, it's not the same. I don't necessarily agree with that.
Yeah.
At the end of the regular season next year, I guarantee you John Tavares will have more points than Brad Marchand will. I guarantee you that. However, when you get into the playoffs, one guy is going to move the needle for you on a nightly basis, and it ain't John Tavares. That's what you're paying for.
Yeah. Look at John Tavares' playoff stats. Not that good. Not
full stop.
great.
And again, this might all be a moot point because it is very appealing to stay in Florida with the Panthers. I equally will not be surprised if tomorrow rolls around and it's announced he signed a 3-year extension with the Florida Panthers. I honestly would not be surprised.
100%.
And they say, we're keeping Bennett and Marchand and we're moving off Ekblad. I would not be surprised if that's the route the Florida Panthers go down. However, as it's being reported, the Panthers' best offer is not going to be able to match the Leafs' best offer.
I think for Marchand, I think the ultimate decision is going to be like, it's going to be just, do I want to stay in a more quiet place? And I do have a better chance of winning Stanley Cups in Florida than I do in Toronto.
Yes.
Or do I go to Toronto? And I think it's really important that he just got that cup and he was borderline a Conn Smythe winner.
Yes.
He was right behind Bennett. So I think that's important to get out of his way, he needed that other ring to kind of just cement himself a little bit more. But I think it's just going to be, it's a, like, do you want to go out with a bang, man? Like, do you want to try and do the unthinkable? Like, that's the simple sell to anybody. But the difference between him and everybody else is he's actually a guy who can handle it. So,
but what do we know about this market, Ryan? He doesn't have to win a cup here to be thought of as one of the biggest sports legends in the history of this town.
Yeah.
Wendell Clark doesn't have to buy dinner anywhere in the city of Toronto. Matt Sundin, Daryl Sittler, Doug Gilmour, Eddie Belfour, Curtis Joseph. The list goes on and on. How many cups collectively between those guys? 0.
Yeah.
You come here and you make a difference and you show pride in wearing the maple leaf and you're a leader and you leave it out on the ice every night. You're on Legends Row, baby. That's how it works here in this city. That's how it works.
Yeah, well, I wonder what the Panthers offer is going to be. Like what? Like,
not $9 million. The Panthers offer is going to be, we can't give you $9 million, but we can give you this.
Similar to the one that he has now. Like, what is he like? Yes. He's in the 6 range somewhere right now.
Yes.
So like, I don't know. I don't know.
One more.
I don't know what it. Yeah. Sorry.
One more thing from Saravelli. Some in the Leafs organization believe the Vegas tampering of Mitch Marner has gone almost a year when the player camp was no longer willing to negotiate with the team. So they feel that this tampering thing hasn't just started in the last few weeks. They think it's gone on for a really long time, and that's why Treliving is threatening to blow the whistle. And one thing Friedman said on the 32 Thoughts podcast is the league is all over this, and they're sending memos out on the weekend about tampering. And the quote was, they're looking to make an example of somebody. So the only reason I think Vegas would be even considering doing this is if they're afraid that the league would go to such a degree where they would say, nope, there's proof that you were tampering with Mitch Marner. We're not allowing him to sign with you.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see how tomorrow's going to be fascinating, man. Tomorrow's going to be fascinating.
For a lot of players, not a lot of great players available, like it's still a very fascinating day. And maybe that's because you just know the Leafs are going to be in on 63 and, you know, the whole Marner thing. And
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, so here's the plan. If something earth-shattering happens tomorrow, like they sign a Brad Marchand or they make a trade or something, we will be back tomorrow night to discuss it. If, from a Leafs perspective, it's pretty underwhelming and they don't really do much, we will be back on Wednesday to give our sort of holistic thoughts on free agency. So we'll be either here Tuesday night or Wednesday night. So if you'd like to join us for that, hit the like and subscribe button below.
Spread the word. Tell your friends.
One thing I always have to remind people is if you're listening to the audio version, please like, subscribe, review. It really, really, really helps us out. Our audio numbers have been on the rise since playoffs. We want to keep them rising. So if you're someone who listens regularly and you haven't subscribed, please do so. It's a massive help. We will see you guys soon.